Hey, what's up guys, it's Kaylee, and today I'm doing the Bookternet All Stars Charity Challenge. If you find yourself enjoying this video, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, it really helps me out, and if you're new here and would like to see more of me, then please subscribe. So the absolutely wonderful Rachael from Rachael Marie's book journey is the mastermind behind this, and she wanted to do something to help the COVID-19 situation. So she's come up with this list of Bookternet All-Star either authors or book series. These are people that kind of, even if you haven't read them, everyone knows about, everyone talks about, and basically you go through the list and just talk about which authors you have read, which you haven't read, the books that you've read, the books that you enjoyed, and she's made a handy little graphic where you can tick them off. So you can do this on Twitter, on Instagram, on Booktube. You can do this absolutely any way you want to. When you post it on social media, you can use the hashtag BookTernetGivesBack, and then there's a submission page where you will submit your video, your completed graphic, however you decide to do this. For every submission that Rachael gets, she'll be donating €1 up to the value of €75 into this pot, and at the end of May she'll choose one person randomly from the pool of people who have submitted, and they'll be able to choose the COVID-19 related charity that the money goes to. Obviously Rachael is not made of money, which is why there's the €75 cap, but if you are able to, you can also choose to donate, and the last update that I saw from her was that the pot was already at €130, which is insane. So if you are financially able to, you can do your own donation. Otherwise, if you're not, you can spread the word by doing the challenge, by sharing people's videos, and one, Rachael will be donating that €1 in your name, and two, it might reach other people who are financially able to donate. So it's just a fun challenge and it's for a really good cause. There's absolutely no reason not to do it. I will leave links to all of the relevant things in the description, so to the submission page, to the donation page, to all of Rachael's information about this, and a link to her original video because she explains it obviously far better than I ever could. So without any more rambling, let's see which of these Booktube All-Stars I have read. First up is Angie Thomas, and I have not read either of her books, and I probably won't. I don't, YA contemporary is not my thing. I don't think I would particularly enjoy either of these. I think that they sound like amazing books and it's very important that they exist and they discuss very important topics, but they're just not for me. The Shatter series by Tahereh Mafi, wow. So this is one that is like an OG Booktube book. Like, this is what everyone was obsessed with when I started watching Booktube, what, 7 years ago? These books have been there the whole way. And I still haven't read them. They're the kind of books that I probably will at least try to read one day, and I think they'll take me right back to that like angsty YA trash teen that I was. I'm probably not going to get to these soon, but I can see myself reading them one day. Then we have My Dark Queen, Leigh Bardugo. So I've actually only read 3.5 of her books. I've read the original Grisha trilogy. I have not read yet Six of Crows. I have not yet read yet? I have not yet read Six of Crows. I do own Crooked Kingdom, and I own a beautiful hardcover King of Scars, but I haven't read those yet. I don't know why I haven't read Six of Crows. I keep trying to buddy read it with people and it's just not happening, so if you would like to buddy read it with me, hit me up. Yeah, I would really like to continue on with the series because I love the Grisha trilogy so damn much, and obviously I am anxiously awaiting the Netflix series, so I need to read Six of Crows like ASAP. And then I have started Ninth House. So far I think it's amazing, but I started it pre-quarantine and I didn't actually own it. I was just like reading it in store. So yeah, I think when Ninth House comes out in paperback I'll have to buy it so I can devour it and annotate it, but for now I haven't read it yet. But I think I'll really enjoy it. Then we have The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, which I also have not read. I have read one other Holly Black book. I've read The Cold Skull and Cold Town, which I loved, and I think I'll really enjoy The Cruel Prince, but I would like to buy it because I'm pretty sure I'll enjoy it. I want to annotate it on my first read, so I'm kind of waiting until I own it, and I haven't found it on sale yet. Then we have The Bone Witch by Rinchi Pecco, and to be honest, I had not known who she was until all of the recent drama, I'm sorry. But having discovered her because of the recent drama, The Bone Witch sounds like something I would really enjoy. She seems like a really cool person, and this book sounds amazing, so it's definitely one that I want to get to. The problem with this and a couple of others that are coming later on the list is they're just not easily available in South Africa. Like, our book selection here is very limited. There are so many amazing books that just like fall through the cracks. So this is one that I think sounds amazing, but I don't have access to it at this point. Then we have Victoria Schwab, or V.E. Schwab, depending on who she's writing for. I've actually only read one V.E. Schwab book, which is a travesty because I loved it, and that was the first London book, which is A Darker Shade of Magic. I have read that one and loved it, and just have never carried on with the series. It's one where like I keep ordering it in the store so that I can borrow it and read it, but then someone buys it, like, rude. And then I really want to read her younger work as well. City of Ghosts sounds incredible, so she's an author that I definitely want to read more of, but just for some reason I never get there. Next we have The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, and I have read the first two books in the series, Cinder and Scarlet. I own Winter, but I don't own Cress, and I think when I looked, my library's Overdrive system has the 3 books that I own, but it doesn't have Cress, so like that's helpful. Also, these are books that are not like super popular in South Africa anymore, so they're not that easy to buy, although with the new covers coming out I'm sure there'll be like a little resurgence in them, so maybe I should strike while the iron's hot and just finally read Cress. I enjoy these. It's not like my favourite series, but I do enjoy them. I gave Cinder 3 stars the first time I read it, and I think actually the second time I read it as well, although I did enjoy it a lot more the second time. I think my standards for ratings are just higher now, and I'm pretty sure I gave Scarlet 4 stars. So it does seem to be a thing that I'm enjoying them more as the series goes on, which makes sense because Cinder is a very like foundational book, and then the world really starts to open up in Scarlet. So I think that can only happen even more so in Cress, and I'm really excited to get there. And I think Cress is also a lot of people's favourite book, possibly. I know Scarlet is a lot of people's least favourite, but I enjoyed it a lot more than Cinder. So maybe I'm not going to be in line with popular opinion, but I do think Cress is a decent number of people's favourite book. So hopefully I will really enjoy that one when I get to it. Next we have Adam Silveira, who I also haven't read anything by. Again, not really my kind of author. I don't do YA contemporary unless it's something that really stands out to me. The one that I'm most likely to read is Infinity Sun, but I'm always a little wary of contemporary authors who cross over into fantasy. I don't have a lot of faith in it, and I haven't heard great reviews, so it's the one that appeals to me the most, but I probably still wouldn't read it. Next up we have Cassandra Clare, who if I had done this like a month ago, I would have had a very different answer to. So I devoured The Mortal Instruments when I was in high school. I read the first 3 books, like I bought a box set of the first 3 books and devoured them. Like, I came home from the shops that day, started reading City of Bones, finished it that night and immediately started City of Ashes, and just read until I like fell asleep, which was about 3 in the morning, and then woke up at 6 the next day to go to school, and then came home that night and did the same thing until I'd finished all 3 books. And then I found out that there were more books, so I carried on. And then City of Heavenly Fire was coming out, and I was like anticipating it like crazy, and devoured that as well. And then the series was over and I was like, I need more. But I couldn't afford to buy The Infernal Devices. And also I didn't really have that much interest in it because like I wanted to read about the characters that I knew and loved. Flash forward a couple of years, I'm working in a bookstore, I can read whatever I want for free. By this point, looking back at The Mortal Instruments, I'm like, it didn't need to be such a long series. could have been a trilogy. Probably should have been a trilogy. Could have had exactly the same story arc, but been condensed significantly into like 3 or 4 books. So apart from having that, I kind of felt like I'd outgrown her. But I thought, you know what, let me give The Infernal Devices a try, because I think this was around when Lord of Shadows came out. So I thought, let me just give Infernal Devices a try. And I read like the first page of Clockwork Angel and I was done. I was like, no, it's not happening. So I've spent the last 3 years being like, really, another Cassandra Clare book? Which, I mean, fair. I still think she is definitely milking the Shadowhunter universe. But Chain of Gold has now come out and I was like, actually, I think I want to read this one. But in order to read this one, I have to go back and read like 10 fucking books. So I thought I would try. I would give The Infernal Devices another try. And I have, and I'm loving it. So I'm about halfway through Clockwork Angel and I'm completely back to being 16 years old and obsessed with Shadowhunters. So yeah, that's my life, that's my story. I'm now a Cassandra Clare stan again. That was a super long digression that no one ever asked for. Oh, next up is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I know this is a booktube darling, I know everyone loves this, I know everyone gave it 5 stars. I DNF'd it. I got like 130 pages in and I could not find a single fuck to give about any of the characters. I think they were very well crafted. I mean, everyone goes on about how Taylor Jenkins Reid creates such amazing, believable characters, and yes, Evelyn Hugo definitely felt real and felt very believable. I just really didn't care about her. I didn't like her. I had no interest in reading this book. I didn't care. I got, you know, 130 pages in and thought, the characters are really well crafted, the story is actually pretty good, the writing is good, I just really don't care what's gonna happen. So why am I going to spend another 200 pages worth of my time on this book? So I didn't. Next up is Laini Taylor. So she has 2 main series. She has Strange the Dreamer and she has... oh! All I can think of is Dreams of God and Monsters. Daughter of Smoke and Bone is the first book, which was another one that was everywhere on BookTube when I first started watching, and I really wanted to read them, but could never find them in bookstores. I still have not read them, but I have read Strange the Dreamer and I'm absolutely in love with it. It was one of my favourite books of 2018. In fact, if I'd crowned... no, I did crown. I crowned my top 3 of 2018 and Strange the Dreamer probably would have been at number 4. Like, I loved it so much. And then I bought Muse of Nightmares at the end of last year and still haven't read it. I know. I need to. I want to read it like really soon. I just keep forgetting about it because I can't see it. But I mean, just from that one book that I've read, I am obsessed with her. Her writing is incredible. I love the way that she writes characters. I love her world building. Everything about Strange the Dreamer is just everything to me. Next is the Illuminae Files by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, another like BookTube OG that I still haven't read. Apparently these are really good, apparently they're really fun to read. So I couldn't find them. When everyone on BookTube was talking about Illuminae, I could never find it. Then when Gemina came out, is that what it's called? I could find that, but I still couldn't find Illuminae. And then when Obsidian came out, I think I forced my manager to finally order Illuminae. And I still didn't read it. I sold it, I didn't read it. Next up we have Scythe by Neal Shusterman, and this is one that definitely sounds interesting to me, but not enough to make me actually read it. It gets such good reviews from people that I really trust, and I think I'll really enjoy it, but it's just not one that screams like, pick me up, even though, which I don't understand, because the story, every time I hear the story I'm like, oh, that sounds amazing. Basically it's a world where we've cured everything. People just don't die of natural causes. The only way that you can die is if a scythe chooses for you to die. That sounds great, it sounds dark, it sounds twisted, it sounds amazing, sounds like I would love it. But then I see the book and I'm just like, eh. So the next author on this list is Sarah J Maas. Do I like her? Do I? Can you tell? Maybe. She's my queen. I'm obsessed. I love everything that she's written. The only book of hers that I haven't read is Catwoman. I'm a big fan. A big fan. Next is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, which I also haven't read. This is another one that's like an OG booktube book that at the time I was like, yes, super keen to read this, sounds great. And now it just doesn't... I couldn't even tell you what it's about, honestly. I feel like I've outgrown a lot of what I was interested in back then, and that's okay. Next up is Sean and Mcguire, also known as Myra Grant, depending on what kind of books she's writing, I think. So the impression I get is that Sean Mcguire writes like portal fantasy and then Myra Grant writes kind of sci-fi thrillers. Could be wrong, don't quote me on that. I'm definitely interested in both names' work. Every time I hear about a Sean and Mcguire book, I'm just like, yes, this sounds incredible. And then every time I hear about a Myra Grant book, I'm like, yes, this sounds incredible. But she's another author that just doesn't come to South Africa. Like, we don't get her books. So I would have to buy them online or like buy the ebooks, and I'm not about that life, you know? Next is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, and this is, of the books that I haven't read on this list, apart from the authors that I've specifically said like I like them and I'm just working my way through their books, this is probably the one that I'm most likely to read. Every time someone talks about it I'm like, I need to read this book, but I just haven't got my grubby little paws on it yet. But also I have so many high fantasies that I need to get through and so many chunky high fantasies that I need to get through that I can't justify adding another one to my TBR at this point. And lastly is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. And this seems like a very sweet, very fun series, which I definitely was incredibly keen to read when I was like 15, 16, and I have absolutely no interest in now. I will definitely never buy these. I can't see myself ever reading them, even just like as something cute and fun and light and fluffy. I may one day watch the movie. I could see myself watching the movies, but I have no interest in the book at all. So that is it for the Bookternet All Stars Charity Challenge. Let me know in the comments what you think of the books on this list. I feel like this is a super accurate representation of the Bookternet. You know, we've got some new stuff. We've got Seven Husbands of Evelyn and Hugo, we've got The Poppy War. These are things that in the last like year or two have just been everywhere. And then we've got like the old faithfuls, we've got the stalwarts, we've got Shatter and To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and I mean Cassandra Clare's a bit of a mix of both, isn't she? Because she's just been writing for like a million years and brought out a million books. So I think it gives a really nice overview and is like a nice timeline of the history of the Bookternet. Obviously this is not like a definitive list, that would be impossible, but I think it's a really good snapshot, like a melting pot of everything on the Bookternet. So I loved doing this. Thank you so much to Rachael for creating this. I think that what you're doing is amazing and I'm so happy that I could contribute in a very small way. So once again, I will leave links to the submission page and the donation page and all of Rachael's information about this. So if you are able to, you can make a donation, or you can just see more information about this so that you can make your own submission and you can give back in that way. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, if you enjoyed this, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye!
My life is grounded in a firm routine of coffee, sleep, and work. I am not boring, I just stick to what I know.